How are you guys? It's Jeff Ware here from bikereview.com.au. Hope you're having an awesome day. I've had a big one today. So again, on a scooter. You're probably thinking all I'm doing is riding scooters lately, which is a big change from the super bikes and sports bikes you're all used to. But I have to say I'm enjoying it anyway myself. I am getting older. I'm 44 now, so. And I've always loved scooters. I even owned them in the 90s myself when I was living and racing in Japan. And I've always had a scooter over here. I had one when I lived in Sydney City. Heather and I used to ride around on scooters. So even though you've mainly seen me on race bikes and sports bikes, I've pretty much always had a scooter in the shed, or at least at some time or another. Now, Peugeot is a name of the scooter brand that is pretty dear to me. Like, first of all, you won't realise, but Peugeot is the oldest brand of motorcycle in the world, and it was the first motorcycle to win the Isle of Man TT. So the Peugeot scooter, I'll tell you, in the 90s, when Heather and I were just going out and she was at uni and I was racing, we really wanted a Peugeot Speed Fight. Like, we wanted it bad. Like, we would go down to the scooter shop and we'd look through the window at this bike and be like, we want that, we want that, we want to ride it around. So yeah, we really wanted this scooter badly. And for one reason or another, you know, we just never could afford it. And so eventually, you know, we forgot about the idea. And Peugeot kind of disappeared. And then, you know, recently I tested the Django scooter, which was the first Peugeot I've ridden forever. And now today, the Belleville 200. So it's kind of really a special, cool thing for me to do, to come and ride this scooter, just because, you know, 20 something years ago, I wanted one badly. I was talking to the Asia Pacific manager, Mark Franklin, today about the Speed Fight, and he was like, I was exactly the same in the 90s, because he's pretty much the same age as me. He was like, I was the same, I wanted one really bad too, like they're the horniest looking thing ever. So yeah, so anyway, this is not a Speed Fight, but it's a more practical scooter. It's a Toyota Camry of scooters. It's a Holden Commodore. It's a bike that does everything. It's designed to get you to work, it's designed to commute on, it's designed to get you in and out of the suburbs. It's got a 200cc single cylinder engine, CVT transmission, happily sits on 90 kilometres an hour. So we came back on the freeway towards where we are now from the city and towards the airport, Melbourne. And I was sitting on 90 k's an hour at 6,000 RPM, and I wound it out to 105 k's an hour, which is faster than Peugeot state it will do, because I think they say it only does 90. So it does 105, no problem. You could sit on 100, you know, easy. That's with me on it, 95 kilos without a pillion. But yeah, so it's definitely good on the open roads. I guess with the 16-inch front and rear wheels and that CVT transmission, you've got the gearing to sort of get up there and do those speeds. So that's pretty impressive. It's an all-round sort of suburbs scooter, which is what we did today. We started in the suburbs, we went through the city, did a lot of traffic stuff, did some really busy stuff, did a bunch of lane splitting. Then we headed out to St Kilda. We came back at like 6 p.m. in peak hour on a typical Aussie sort of commute in a city, which is what this thing was designed for, and I was really happy on it. It easily keeps up with the traffic. It's narrow enough to get through the cars and trucks at the red lights, and plenty of punch off the lights to get you ahead of the cars, which is where you want to be. Suspension wise, it's got traditional telescopic forks. I was really impressed with those today. I thought they were good over a range of, you know, bumps, roads, speed humps, and then on the smooth stuff they were really good too. On the brakes, there was a bit of dive there, but they were definitely supported. I did some brake checks. It's got a 240mm front rotor, and it's got ABS, and I tested that numerous times today to make sure it works. So really happy with the forks. The shock's quite firm. It's quite firmly sprung and damped, and the seat's quite hard as well. So you do get a bit of a shock through the back end of the scooter, maybe more than you would like. It's not quite as comfortable as it could be over some of the bumps and things like that. Bearing in mind these are very new, so that might run in a bit more. but the rear was quite firm. But the positive side of that is you can carry groceries underneath it, you can chuck a pillion on it, you don't need to do any adjustments, you just hop on and ride. And you know, these tyres have probably got quite stiff sidewalls on them as well, so that probably contributes to that firmness. And yeah, the rear brake's a 220mm rotor, that's really strong. You know, I was mucking around being a bit silly today with that. I was pretty impressed. The rear brake's slightly more powerful than the front brake, as long as you transfer your weight to the back and don't lock it up. And then at a full braking test with both brakes on, full hard squeeze, from like 60 k's an hour down to 0, it's very, very impressive. A little bit of flex in the steering head here and steering stock area, which is pretty normal on a scooter. But I was super impressed with the stopping power of this thing. So that'd be fantastic in emergencies. No vibrations really, 60 k's an hour, a very, very slight buzz in the handlebars, but nothing else through the whole rev range. The mirrors are nice and large and broad, and there's no vibrations in them. They were easy to adjust to see a nice view behind me. The switch gear is pretty classy. It's well made. It looks decent quality as well. It's got a nice button to unlock the seat here, and it's got your hazard lights, starter. It's pretty basic, high and low beam. And your indicators, this is the only thing I don't like about it, and a lot of the European scooters and other scooters, a lot of Chinese ones as well, are those indicator warnings, because it just sounds like a truck reversing. Horn's nice and loud, which is important on a scooter. And you know, the lights are pretty good. It only has a halogen headlight, which is a bit old fashioned. Unfortunately, it's got LED driving lights. The RS version, which is the same price as this at the moment in Australia on a special, has an LED headlight. It'd be nice to see that on this model in the future. LED all at the back, tail lights are pretty cool. And one thing we do have here, these nifty fold down pillion pegs, which at this stage, from what we can tell, only our model that we've seen. The European models and the Asian models I've seen pictures of, and even the Asia Pacific manager hadn't seen these before. So they're quite neat, pillion pegs with a little wing on them. Well, we're told they're MotoGP style downforce wings for high speed. That's what they reckon. Storage under the seat is reasonable. It's a full face small helmet or a half face, no problems at all. Nothing else, you can't get 2 helmets under it, which is a bit unfortunate. And there's a glove box here, which is easy to open, and there's not much room in that either. Seating position's really good. I'm 187 centimetres tall with dodgy knees, as you know, and my leg's pretty much at a perfect right angle, which is pretty rare on a scooter. And I've got big feet, size 12, they still fit in there. I've got a little bit of room there to move, and it's really easy to get in and out of because that floor's so low. I like that, it's very low. There's nothing to step over there at all. So it's super comfy and a nice broad seat. It's just a little bit hard, the seat. I rode it for 4 hours, I reckon. We're in the saddle today. So you wouldn't normally be in the saddle for 4 hours on a scooter. So I don't think anyone's going to have any trouble comfort-wise there. But yeah, good for tall people, and for shorter ones, it's also easy to reach the ground because it's quite narrow here, which is fantastic. It's really narrow. It's really easy to get it on and off the centre stand. It's very light to do that. It's well ratioed, that stand, so it's pretty much just 2 fingers under that lever and it's up. And it's also got a side stand, which is fantastic as well. It's nice and quiet, which is what you want for a scooter. And overall, I'm fairly impressed with the bike. It's 5.5 grand, pretty much 5.5 grand. And there's that special at the moment, like I said, the RS model that's got a few extra features, which is the same price as this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hit that notification bell. Tell us about your Peugeot experiences if you have any, and have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.